less stress, more time, more money. Welcome to the Cashflow Contractor, short with Martin Holland.
Hi, and welcome to this short episode in which we're going to talk about the 1% rule. Now, you may never have heard of the 1% rule, and I don't think many people have because I made it up. And if I didn't tell you, you might not have heard of it. But we all want to make more money, and a lot of us do it by looking for the big score to get it done. I have a contractor friend who was always looking for the big score, and he finally got it. He landed a single big job for a nationally known company, and he bid it for around $2 million, which is about double his previous high price bid. That was double the most he'd ever made on a single contract sale. So everything's great, right? He finally did it. The only problem was it put him in bankruptcy, and he's no longer in business. Big scores tend to be rare events, and when we get one, like my contractor friend, it's often because we made price concessions and we bid it without fully understanding how a giant new job would affect us. We might get that job and later wish we hadn't. Happens all the time. Big scores tend to suck up resources, our capacity to work for anybody else, and our capacity to work for maybe higher paying jobs. But they suck up resources like manpower and equipment, and especially they suck up cash, which winds up tied up in inventory and accounts receivable. It really takes careful planning over the years to ramp our businesses up, and it's hard to do that by hunting elephants. But there's another way to make more money. It's more predictable, and it doesn't bring with it all the difficulties of hunting for elephants and taking on giant jobs before we're ready. In fact, it's so easy to do, we can all do it starting right now. The more predictable way to increase profit is to understand and take advantage of the amazing power of small changes, to take advantage of the 1% rule. The 1% rule says that the average company in the United States can increase, if it can increase its gross profit margin by 1%, it will increase its net profit bottom line margin by 14.5%. Does that sound interesting? Well, if you don't remember anything else I say in this short episode, remember that. A 1% increase in gross profit margins will increase your net profit by 14.5%. I know that it's hard to follow just listening to someone talk, so I encourage you to follow math and numbers and percentages by just listening to someone talk. So I encourage you to download the PDF and to visit the calculator link that we have in the show notes to see how it works and how it would work in your business specifically. I promise you it'll be worth your effort. Okay, to understand how it works, why does it work? You have to understand gross profit margins. Let's say that you bid a job for $100 and that it'll cost you $30 or 30% in material and $35 or 35% in labor just to do the job. That means the job will cost you $65 out of every $100 of sales revenue, leaving you just $35 as your gross profit or your gross profit margin. And that's all you've got left to use to pay your overhead expenses, and once all the overhead expenses are paid, to accumulate as net profit. Knowing that, if you know that for your business, you now have something to work on. If getting your labor down from 35% of sales to 34% of sales would increase your net profit by 14.5%, could you do it? Of course you could. And this is where understanding the power of small changes leads from ideas to action. So just to take that example, how could you get your labor costs down by 1%? How about doing one more service job per service truck per week? You get one more job revenue in for an average and at an average week's payroll. The payroll doesn't change, but the revenue goes up. That alone would probably be enough to get your margins up by 1%. So what would it take to get one more job done? Well, I don't always know that for the contractor clients that I work with, but my contractor clients always do. They know where the waste is, and I'll bet you know where the waste is in your company. Things like cutting down on trips to the parts house. How about leaving the shop on time every single day? How about cutting out stops at the convenience store? How about standardizing arrangement of your service vehicles or your trucks so everybody can find parts and tools quickly? How about telling the team how much time you allocated to a bid on a job, how many man hours that you allocated to a job, so they know that they're being measured and they also have a target to shoot for? How about organizing and keeping track of the excess parts that you buy and that you've bought mistakenly so that you don't buy things twice? You get the idea. Those are all small changes, but they have an outsized effect. And you already know where the waste is in your business. Every one of us, every one of you can find ways to become more efficient once you realize the importance of small changes and have the incentive to make them. I'm hoping my purpose of this episode is that you understand the 1% rule and that it provides that incentive. And by the way, if you can improve your margins by 2%, you'll also increase your net profit by 29%. If that sounds interesting, but maybe too good to be true, but I assure you it is true. Use the link to the 1% calculator to see how much a 1% improvement in margins will make to your business, and then get out there, find the inefficiencies, and begin systematically to make the changes necessary to get it done.
Thanks for listening to The Cashflow Contractor. Check out our website in the show notes or visit thecashflowcontractor.com.